let's go ahead and jump right into it. I think we got quite a few folks on. I'm letting everyone here just kind of slowly pile in. Everyone, we had a few things planned today. However, I'm gonna call an audible because I'm good like that, and because I can do that, and because I have all the freedom to do that. I don't know if anybody notices or not. Eric is not here today, so it's kind of like when the cat's away, the mice will play, kind of thing. So Eric's not here, so we're gonna have some fun with a couple of different things. But no, we don't want to know where Eric is. We're not going to talk about where Eric is. We're just going to mention that Eric's not here. All right, that's all that needs to matter. And Whitney, don't say anything. Don't tell Eric that we're talking about him. His ears are probably burning right now. I actually wanted to talk about a couple of things that have been coming out recently. So first and foremost, we had like a really cool session last week. But it was really hard to recognize that we were just kind of coming like fresh off the tails of RSA. We were at RSA out in San Francisco. And for those of you who may be thinking like, oh, it's RSA and whatnot, I'm going to tell you, like, you probably have a bunch of friends that you haven't had a chance to catch up with just yet, who you might have run into out there. And I'll tell you, that's what we got to do with that, is we got to run into quite a few people we hadn't seen in a while, talk about some awesome business ideas, integrations, and things like that. And that part was really cool. And it also led to a discussion that we had with today's guest, Mr. Rafal Los. How you doing? Is that the White Rabbit himself? How's it going?
I'm all right. How about you guys?
Doing well. Rafal, it's great to have you here. Let's talk about the role of network security. Tell us a little bit really quick about yourself. Like, dude, you've got an awesome pedigree. I think you have something to do with a podcast or something like
Yeah,
that.
I've done that once or twice. So those of you that don't know me, that's okay. I've been out of the public eye for a bit on purpose. I was in at the conference scene pretty hard, '08 to 16, 15, something like that. Um, so Rafal Los, people on Twitter, if that's a thing still, and in the community would know me as the White Rabbit. In fact, probably more of you guys know my Twitter handle than know my actual name. That's fine. I don't remember yours either. I'm terrible at names. I apologize before I even meet you. I've run Down the Security Rabbit Hole podcast for 14, technically 14 seasons. So now on its finishing up its 14th season year.
It's awesome.
And 602 publishes next Tuesday. Now
Wow.
there are a number of unnamed episodes. If anybody wants to come back and tell me how many there are that don't have any names, I'll send you a t-shirt. That don't have, not names, that don't have numbers, that are on the dtsr.buzzsprout.com page that do not have numbers. I will first one to send, put it in the window. I'll send you I'll send you a t-shirt. But and I have some left still. Said
Nice.
t-shirt.
I know exactly what Chris is about to go do.
Yeah. But I don't know. So, I've been doing that for a while. Moved over out of the technical world a white ways back into services, advisory, ran an executive advisory team at Opta for a minute. I moved into building two security as a service companies, both focused, one focused on endpoint, one focused on kind of a whole holistic SOC. And now I've moved over to a company called ExtraHop, hence
Mm.
the Network Avengers hat. If you were at our RSA booth, you picked up one of these. I have the I Feel Seen one around here somewhere. It's pretty cool. We should, somebody wants them, let me know and I'll contact marketing, see if we can get some out to you. But yeah, so been doing that. I run services, go to market and strategy, and I'm responsible for MSP strategy as well. Um, and yeah, so I stay busy. I've got a couple of other projects I get involved in. Recently, I've been a yard work person, as evidenced by the poison ivy up and down both arms right now.
Oh,
Yeah, newsflash: if you're wearing gloves is great, having short sleeves was a dumb idea.
what kind of gloves? Like ones that just came up to the bottom, to the top of
No,
your
I
wrist?
like the heavy like plastic, hand coated so you can like get good leverage and stuff. But they
Gotcha.
went up to here. The poison ivy got
Oh,
me here
Yeah.
and here. So
Oh,
you sit here and you're like, I want to rip my skin off, and it's just so bad. Yeah, yeah.
dude, I
Yeah,
can't believe
leaves
I'm
of
saying
three. Let
this.
it be. Thanks.
Yeah.
I knew I know what it looks like. I was pulling it out on purpose because it's in the area where my kids play in the backyard. And I thought I was being super. This is such a lesson for security. I thought I was being super cautious. I had gloves on. I was paying attention, and I was pulling on the, slowly you pull the vine up so you can get all the root. And I pulled the root, and it came around and slapped me on the wrist, and I went, "Damn it!"
Yeah, there's no is there like I don't know, I'm curious, is there like one of those like snake bite remedies for it or something?
You can there's nothing that makes it go permanently away. Just something that it just eventually. So it starts out like a little dot,
Hmm.
like and it gets just bigger and bigger, bigger blister. And if you scratch it, that oil is the poison, and you'll get it through more of your skin, which is kind of like a mosquito bite. The more you scratch on it, the worse it gets. Except this is I don't know. I guess we're turning this into a field uh type of podcast, but yeah, it gets super super itchy, and you want to like rip your arms off, and it's awful. But
To be fair, that is sometimes what it does feel like digging through PCAPs,
that
where you just want to rip your eyes out
you
and just be
that but
like,
yeah,
I
that's your eyeballs.
yeah.
There's a reason why my eyesight, I think, is really bad, because you doing
Yeah.
this right over small laptops for years at a time did not
Well, they
did
told me
not
if
do
I
my
got an
eyes
ultra
well.
wide monitor, Wireshark would look better.
You just fit
And
more stuff on it at the
yeah, all
same
I did was
size.
just add more columns. I
Right.
never enlarged the
That's right.
font or anything like that. So it
Yeah,
didn't.
this whole big monitors thing that's going to give you allow you to make things bigger is a total lie, because we all think we've got great eyes, and some of you do. God bless you.
Yeah.
At my age, I don't anymore, and I never really had great eyes. But like we just add stuff to it. I've got a 30, what is this, a 34
Mm.
curved. I love this thing, this LG. But I was like, all right, I'm just gonna extend everything, make everything bigger. I'm like, ooh, I can add more columns. And I'm thinking, wait, I've completely defeated the purpose of what I'm doing. I'm still squinting at it. Damn it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, no, it's just more. Although Excel looks fantastic on these things, and if any of you have been doing security long enough, you know that Excel never leaves your tool belt as a very important, powerful tool. Hopefully some of you rolled your eyes, but then hopefully some of you were like, "Wait a second, he's right. I shouldn't have rolled my eyes."
Excel is one of the most powerful security tools you'll ever be. And that is both a commentary on the, can I swear on this
Yeah,
show?
yeah, yeah. I don't think
On
anybody's
the
gonna know.
absolutely shitty state of cybersec tools,
Yeah,
and also on the fact that it's actually kind of useful. So you know,
yeah. It's tough because you roll into a new place of employment and you're like, you get your laptop and you're like, all right, this one's going to be different. I'm going to manage my Git repos the right way.
no, you're
Right.
not.
I'm going to manage my code libraries. I'm going to use virtual env every time. I'm going to do this the right way. And you get your laptop and you're like, where's Excel? And it's like, wait a second, I was going to do this the right way, I thought. And then someone's like, oh, we use Google Sheets. And you're like, I can't.
I'm living in that private hell right now.
Yeah.
After having Office for years, the company I work at now is where, a lot of startups, a lot of companies have gone to Sheets because Google Suite, because it's just, I mean, face it, it's kind of for collaboration, it's actually better. But however,
Yeah.
for like, if you compare slides to PowerPoint, if you compare Sheets to Excel, like it's not even remotely close.
Yeah.
And
There's some
there's
little
days
bit
where I'm like,
there.
I don't miss the bloat, and then there's like, oh my God, I have to go download. Like somebody's gonna have to give me a license because I'm gonna lose it.
That's right. Hey, I'm curious now. You've been around for quite a while, and I'm quoting your history there. How do you see like tooling and stuff has changed over the number of years and whatnot? I mean, I just feel like I don't know. I go to conferences these days, and I when you said you were conferencing from like '08 to like 14, 16, I was feeling that era because I was like, man, those were like legacy conference eras, it felt like. And I sound like an old man right now, but those were like DerbyCon days and things
Yeah,
like that, and we don't have those anymore.
DerbyCon
How
days.
is how is like tooling changed for you guys?
Uh, I don't know. The tool stack has, having been a vendor for a long time
Mhm,
of that period, the tool stack's just gotten wider and deeper. Like there's both more of the same thing,
mhm,
with like color variations, feature set differences. It's 80% all the same thing, but there's like that 20% that changes. And we buy three of this, arguably the same tool, because they all have like slight variations. We're like, oh, I need that feature and I need that feature. None of them have all of them. Crap, I'm buying all three. And then it's gotten wider. So there's more of them, more tech. And it's not going to surprise anybody that I say this, but like I don't know if it's helping anybody.
Yeah.
And this coming as a person who sells tech, I, the one thing I will tell you guys, this the fact that there are, two or three dozen well-known EDR tools, the fact that there are tons of tech, whatever the buzzword du jour is, we will develop 50 pieces of technology for that buzzword, and then we'll rebrand 49 of them to the next buzzword.
Yeah.
And that's not helping. So I don't know. We had a great meeting at RSA with a good CISO friend of mine, my buddy Gary, and he was talking about um just the tech they use and kind of how they're thinking about it. And one of the people in the group asks, well, everybody's talking about AI at this conference, and you can tell he's a sales guy because that's what he asked.
Yep.
Um, not that I don't like him. It's just funny. But that was AI was everywhere, right? We AI'd everything. We AI washed everything. But the question was, what do you think about what's your AI strategy? And Gary responds, well, I've just spoken to like 5 different major providers of ours. They're all giving me a co-pilot. And what I need now is a co-pilot to manage the co-pilots.
A co-pilot for my co-pilot. I
That
need somebody in the jump seat to handle
well,
all these co-pilots.
well, think about this, right? I mean, it's both funny and depressing at the same time. So if you think
Mm,
about this logically, we we couldn't get our best of breed. And if you're just listening to this, you watch me do air quotes. We
mhm,
all the best of breed tools, every single one of them had their own format, their own standards, their own nuances, which means none of them actually work together. You
mhm,
could integrate them manually using Python or whatever, but that's not sustainable. Those are brittle integrations, and those frankly suck. And if you've got a DIY, then why are you paying the vendor for it, right? There's something wrong with that relationship. And
mhm.
then we got to, well, okay, well, then we need this new product space called SOAR, because SOAR was going to integrate all these things for us. And of course the booth at RSA for a year or two in a row, it says SOAR is dead. Um, uh, sure, in the same way mainframe is. Good job, guys. Um, you could have said that 5 years ago, and you'll be able to say that five
Yeah.
years from now. But we created a new product category that was going to solve all the problems. And if you've seen, I think it's an XKCD comic where there's like 3 people standing around. It's I think it's 2 panes or 3 panes, and it says there are far too many standards. None of them are compatible with each other, so they get together and they create a new standard.
Yep. For the standards.
Right. There's 6. None of them work together, so they create a 7th, which is completely different than all the other ones. This
Yeah.
is what we're doing as an industry.
Yeah. Oh my
There we
gosh. How did he
go.
find that so fast?
That is staggeringly fast, bro. Um,
Wow.
that is scary.
Yeah. I'm not
But
gonna lie. I am wildly impressed by the research capabilities of our of our attendees here. I want to throw out now random questions and just see who can answer them faster, our chat or chat GPT. I'm not sure which one's going to win if I were to set
I don't
that up.
know. Can
Dang,
you
that was quick.
imagine? Can you guys imagine though? You're sitting there in the SOC. You've got you've got access to, this is one of those be careful what you wish for situations.
Mhm.
So, we've been able to buy they give you a budget and you can buy whatever you want, and you've bought a whole bunch of stuff. And then you suddenly realize, like, crap, none of this stuff works together. And so I've got this theory, and I don't think it's unique, but I use it a lot. The effectiveness of your SOC is inversely proportional to how many times you have to hit Alt Tab
Yes.
and how many times you have to swivel chair between screens.
Yes.
Because if you're doing the correlation by hand, copying, pasting between tech, you've lost, and there's no hope for what you're doing. I mean, there are things that you're like, okay, I want to paste this into a version, something that I want, or for a reporting purpose, but that's not real time. If you're having to do that in real time, uh, damn, Matthew, all right, I'll have to get your address. I'll send you a shirt.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Pretty good. Well, Matthew, welcome back to the chat. We've been at it for about 20 minutes.
I'll send you guys both shirts. I think I got a couple left. I think they're large and mediums. I think they're ladies mediums and men's larges. I've had a couple sitting, so I'll send me a note or go through Matthew and Matt. They can send me addresses. I'll send you guys shirts.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, Matthew
what was I
Carmody. I'm
saying?
gonna
Let's
grab
talk.
a note of those. So in any event,
Exactly.
sorry, directly proportional.
Yeah. So so if you have to like if you can stay within please don't throw anything at the screen right now. If you could have a single pane of glass,
Hmm.
right? Remember that thing we all promised that
Yeah.
nobody ever delivered on?
Oh yeah.
If there was actually such a thing, we would be in such a better off place than we are today. The problem is there are 19 single panes of glass, which makes it feel like somebody's lying to me.
Hmm.
Uh, because every vendor wants you to use theirs. So I'm going to bring this back to our like what we do at ExtraHop, and it's kind of nice because you can actually work from our dashboard investigation UI if you'd like,
Yeah.
or we can be a direct input into something else. This is I can't remember who told me this, and I'm sorry I forgot. But it somebody told me a couple months ago that if your security tools and your tools in general, right, the mechanisms you use out there, especially for automation, if they're not API driven, meaning I can't talk API to it, if I have to go click something, it's probably not good. Um, and that makes you think a little bit because how much of your security technology do you physically have to log in, use your keyboard and mouse to, move,
Hmm.
click through, whatever. When that's really tough to automate. You should be able to do that by API and at least a good chunk of it, right? I
Yeah.
don't expect everything because there's things, but yeah, I would very much like it if APIs ruled the world. But then then we've got API insecurity problems, auth N auth Z kinds of things, and
Yep.
that brought up an entirely new industry inside the AppSec group. So that was
I was
fun.
just about to say, then there's a whole nother wing of San Francisco that now gets dedicated towards securing the APIs,
Yeah, man.
um, which is okay, I think, right? Like I do what here's what I do appreciate. I do appreciate that we didn't like 5 years from now be all of a sudden like, wait, is anybody securing these things?
Yeah,
I'm glad that it did come out. I don't want to say relatively earlier, but I will say the release between Windows and EDR technology was much longer than the release between an API first methodology and API security. You know, um, and I like that one. But I'm also I'm a huge believer in time just being this swinging pendulum for SOCs. And the longer an adversary is in your environment, obviously, the more time is on their side and whatnot. But the moment you can like figure out who they are, where they're at, and I don't mean like threat intel who they are, but like which accounts they're using and stuff, you
yeah,
start to
yeah,
swing time back into your court, right? It becomes your advantage because like you should know the network better. To your point, if I'm giving up those minutes by like, okay, let me click through this. Oh, shit. All right, SSO logged out. All right, let me go through here. Dang it. I was telling someone about this yesterday. Who was it? Oh no, Chris. I was talking to Chris about this. I saw someone on the plane. I think it was either on the way or back from RSA. I can't remember, but they were doing some work on the plane, and sure enough, they got kicked out, and they were like, "Oh, my UB key is in my overhead," and they just like
oh
closed the
boy.
laptop, and they're like, "All right, I'm done." Like they just couldn't even be bothered to stand up and grab the UB key. And don't get me wrong, I'm in the same boat. I would have been like, "That's it. I'm this is clearly a sign from the universe." But imagine if that was like a security triage, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, all right, never mind. I don't have time for this." You know. And I feel
But
like the more we do it, everybody's selling another process, another workflow that unfortunately just adds more time to what your analysts are doing, as opposed to like if I could just put you in front of a stream of alerts, right?
yeah,
This is what humans are really good at. Humans are really good at seeing like massive big pictures and finding patterns in between them and being
yeah,
like,
but
wait a
the
second.
bigger so Matt, the bigger problem is though, and so real quick, I want to address this
Yeah.
single pane of glass versus single source of SSOT, single source of truth. I like that idea. I think the single source of truth idea is good. The question is, or sorry, the point is you have to in that case you have to know what questions to ask to get answers. And I am of the opinion that we have an entire generation, again, don't throw things at the screen, that grew up with a GUI telling them where to click and what to do.
Hmm.
And that's not that in itself is not the bad thing. The bad thing is we got lazy and we depended on the box to tell me what to investigate where the blinking red light is.
Hmm.
And we've forgotten how to think critically enough to ask the right questions. So now we've got security technology that broadly says, I've identified the thing, you should go look at this. Versus, I have a lot of data here. Some of this stuff looks weird.
Mm.
Let me know what you want me to do for you, right? And so I'm pretty that bring it back to our tech.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting because you can ask a giant repository of packets and packet records questions like, hey, purple monkey panda puppy monkey baby, is that a thing? I want to have a I want to have an adversary. CrowdStrike, get on this. Puppy monkey baby. Can somebody do that? That'd be hilarious.
Wait, what country would what region would baby be then?
I don't know. I don't know
All
what
right.
puppy would be either. Uh, I mean, baby. You're gonna insult somebody, so I assume I'm just
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
there we
guess
go.
that
I
one.
like it. I had a few. Oh, okay. JP went the clever route. I would. JP, you get an award for
Micro,
having a clever answer.
Central Florida. That's
There it
brilliant. I
is.
love it.
That's the one I
That's a
was
good
thinking.
one.
Didn't want to
That's
say.
a
I
good
like
one.
it. Wow, Matthew with the zingers and a free T-shirt. Not bad
That's
today.
right. He's hitting it. But think about it, right? You are able to, rather than being the rather than giving you the answer already to a question the vendor has decided is the important question to ask.
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be great if your platforms were giving you hints as to where to start looking so that you could then ask deeper questions? I mean, that's what they keep telling me. It's what threat hunting is all about.
Yeah.
And there's like a handful of people that know how to do that well. And whether you're taking a group of IOCs and you pivot off of those, or like you go into a platform like ours and you go, all right, show me something that's weird.
Hmm.
That's the oh God, I who was it that did oh God, I've forgotten his name. That's all right. Marcus Random. Because it's been a minute since I've seen that dude around.
Hmm.
Um Marcus always used to talk about like he would his favorite detections were all the never before seen things, not the stuff that somebody's seen before that's causing a problem, because that you can automate away and you can like,
Hmm.
hey, that's what an attacker looks like, automate that away, make that go away. But he would, it's like he's like the equivalent of like going out on vacation. It's like, I don't put I wouldn't put IDS sensors, like open close sensors, on my doors. Too many false positives. My neighbors can, I live in a safe area. My neighbors can walk in sometimes, borrow stuff. They check on my cat. He's like, but I would put the sensor on like my humidor and my
Hmm.
fridge, because my cat's not allowed to open either.
Right.
Right? Like if you're out of the house and your humidor gets open, you're like, okay, that's weird.
Hmm.
Or like in my case, my whiskey library, right? Like somebody
Yep.
pops that open while I'm gone. I'm going, all right, that's not right. Something's going on there. Um, and I think that's where the really interesting security events, security issues happen.
Yeah.
They always happen as far as I'm like where I've seen. Like the stuff that you get, the red alerts and the signatures and all that. Yeah, I mean that's somebody just being careless. The really cool stuff, the stuff that'll
There's no
make your head
alerts.
explode,
Yeah,
they'll
there's
never
no
show
alerts
up
for it.
there.
So that's what like that's I remember that when before threat hunting became like a buzzword. And I hate to say it was a buzzword because I feel like there's part of like just basic SOC analysis that could have always been threat hunting, but it started out very much. Ben, how dare you? It started out as a like, what's fishy in the environment, and there was no detection, and it wasn't a well, we don't have a detection for a thing, so we're gonna go look to see if it happened, right?
Yeah.
It was like, how many ways can you run PowerShell? I wonder. Let's go find out and let's see what it looks like. But
Well, that was the
nonetheless,
CrowdStrike premise back in the day, right? They
hmm.
were, rather than continuously looking at a pool of changing IOCs that change often by the minute. Why not look at indicators of attack? What does an attack look like? Like if Calc is opening a PowerShell, that may not be something that should happen.
Yeah.
Like while even though like that may be totally legit and the system sees nothing wrong with that, you as a person go, that's kind of weird. That's weird.
Does
That
not make
probably
sense
shouldn't
here.
happen.
Right.
Right? Like, hey, you open up a PDF and suddenly you're launching a file browser. You're like, No, I don't think I want to do that. Which
Right?
brings me to why the hell does PDF whose idea was it to include JavaScript in PDFs? Like because
I always lean on the Department of Defense. I always lean on the Department of Defense, and I always go back to when Microsoft tried to kill macros, and someone came along with a big budget and was like, "Nope, you're not doing it." And it was like, "Please," and they were like, "Nope, we depend too much on it." With that said, we're at the top of the hour.
oh man, we're
Rafa,
out
it's
of
great to
time.
have you here. Thank you so much. You ever get that feeling like it just wasn't enough time?
Those are days that end in Y, sir.
Yeah.
As a parent, every day there is never enough time. Yes.
Well said. Well said. I love it. Well, it's great to have you, man. It's great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. You've got a very, very storied career in informing people and via multiple mediums and everything like that. So thanks for all you do. And thanks for joining us here as well. It's great to have you. To everyone else, it's great to have you all here. Folks, this has been another episode. We'll see you in a week. Same time, same place, but 30 minutes earlier from now. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend.
See you. Bye.